Kashamu is my very good friend and my brother, a man that is giving freely, a philanthropist of highest order, a warrior, a strong man. We miss him greatly. I never expected this, and death is inevitable. I pray that the good Lord will grant his soul eternal rest. Amen. Well, I'll consider his greatness his fighting spirit and his, heart of giving, good heart, and what he has done in the political landscape, fighting the battle, is something that is worth emulating. He never loses any battle. He understands his own. He doesn't go after anyone, but whoever that comes after him will also not succeed. And that is one thing that I love about him. And then his spirit of fighting for the less oppressed. These are the tributes that he can be known for.
Did so much, both within the community and in the state at large. Charity to the people, to the less privileged. I think most people would think it's easy to put in words what he really represented around the political and philanthropy space of people. But as time goes on and the things he used to do become urgent and needful, and they look around and find out that they can't find anyone that they can easily go to that will go to the length that Buruji will go, I think then they will begin to understand that some kind of enigma had an opportunity of passing through Ogun, a son of Ijebugbo, and he is lost to death and they will never be able to replace him. But let's say that maybe in a couple of generations more, God may bring someone that will be that tenacious, that strong-willed, that generous, that empathic, and most important, that street smart for the people. His loss is a heavy loss for us, especially for the PDP family. Combative and troublesome as he was, I think his greatest legacy, if you ask me, I've reflected on it, that what exactly is his greatest legacy? I think Kashamu's greatest legacy is the audacity of being himself. Kashamu was so audacious. He didn't think that any battle was too big. He didn't think that any mortal was too strong. He didn't think that any effort to put on a course was too much. He didn't think that any fun or any enjoyment was too lavish. He didn't think that any fun was too big. The guy was just, I think it's like the greatest legacy for me is the audacity of being who he was, who he wanted to be, without apologies.
There are three things he has done that has really surprised me. One day we were in the car together and there was a lady, I don't know what happened to her. Maybe she ran mad or crazy, and we were going to a party. And he stopped his car and took off his agbada and told his security to run after the lady to cover her nakedness. And then said they should take her to the mental hospital and paid enough money to take care of her. That's one occasion. Another occasion, we were on the way to the airport from Transcorp Hilton, and we got stopped by a traffic light. And then we saw a beggar on the floor. I think one of his leg was already off, and the other one was kind of decaying. And he asked his driver that, kilo she kini, kilo she man. So that one now asked the person in Hausa. He said that he has diabetes, that they've cut off one leg, but he needs to cut off the other one, but he doesn't have enough money to do so. So Prince Buruji asked, how much will it take? That one said 100,000. He said, so if they cut off the other leg, that means you won't have any other legs. How would you survive? He said he will be selling cigarettes and cola nut. He said, how much will that cost? That one said, if he has 50,000. He said, okay, after you they cut this leg, how will you take care of yourself? He said, we manage. So he now budgeted $1,000 for each, $1,000 for each and everything. And he just gave the beggar $5,000 while I was in the car. So I now asked myself that if somebody told that beggar that you don't need to get anywhere, that $5,000 today will come and meet you on the spot there, he will say it's a lie. So he said, go and do your leg. After you do your leg, enough medication, then your cigarette business you want to start, you start it, and then a place where you are going to be keeping yourself shelter, and gave him all that money. And I was sitting at in the car on the way to the airport. I couldn't get over that. For about a week, I kept on thinking that that this man is something else.
It's a very sad loss. It's a great loss. He still had many years ahead of him in terms of his own plans and expectations. Certainly, I mean, he hadn't yet concluded, many things that he wanted to do. Definitely, there is no doubt that Senator Buruji Kashamu is a man who is fondly remembered by those who love him. He's a hero of the people's hearts, as was demonstrated last week when he was buried, and again today on the 8th day Firdau prayers for him. A man who, as I said, is a hero of the people's hearts, a philanthropist, a helper and defender of the masses, a man who devoted his resources to helping the poor and ensuring that the indigent in society received considerable support.
Like you have seen, everybody is saying good thing about him. And what he said in the Quran is that when people are saying good about you, that means you are in Alujana. So I believe he's in Alujana, so we should all be preparing for it.
All we can do, we really miss him hard. All we can do is to pray that God shall repose his soul, shall be in the bosom of the Lord. The greatest legacy is the philanthropic gesture of the great man. He's very close to the downtrodden, the masses, and his compassion is compared to none. That is the man for you. That's Kashamu.
He was somebody who cared not just about me, but about my family, about my children, about my wife. He cared about my father, about my mother, and was always telling me, don't make sure, if he will ask me, when last did you speak with your father? When last did you speak with your mother and all of that? When last did you see them? And I say, yeah, I talk to them every time, That was the kind of man he was. My Senator Buruji Kashamu was somebody very, 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 was more than a boss to me, was somebody very close to me. And I never in my wildest imagination thought that I would lose him or we would lose him, rather so soon. But like they say, God knows best. I believe that he has played his part and he has acted so well. That's what, regardless of what some people might want to say, I think that the greater majority of the people feels his impact and they have paid him the kind of respect that they think he deserves. And for me, all I think I can do now that he's gone and there is nothing I can do to bring him back to life is to give my very best to ensure that I protect his legacy. I do not disappoint him in any way. My boss's greatest legacy is his fight for justice. When I talk about his fight for justice, for instance, not very many people know that the Stamp Duty Act that the federal government is realizing so much money from now was at the instance of Senator Buruji Kashamu. If you go to the circular that the CPN issued in January 2016, I think on the 15th of January 2016, that circular was based on a judgment given by a federal high court in Lagos. It was Senator Buruji Kashamu that single-handedly went to court, that prosecuted the case, took all the 25 banks to court, that they were supposed to be paying a certain percentage of they are supposed to pay stamp duty charges to the federal government, and he got that judgment on behalf of the federal government. The CBN circular that was issued on the 15th of January 2016 was based on that judgment that Senator Buruji Kashamu. That is one of his legacies. In the lottery business too, he championed a campaign of sanitizing the lottery industry, and between December 2019 till this moment, the lottery industry has never realized the kind of the quantum leap in the kind of remittances and revenues that are now accruing to the federal government, though that is another of his legacies. For me as a person, I saw one thing I would say is the biggest legacy is how he was able to use his knowledge and understanding of the law, even though he wasn't a lawyer, to not just advance his own cause, but the cause of the society. That for me is his greatest legacy.
This is one thing, individual characters and qualities is another. As I'm here as a person, this is not about politics. It's about that I met somebody, some time ago, and he did everything, to support the race that we ran at that time. And I truly cherish that, and I'll continue to cherish that. Well, for the traits of, fighting with everything that he has for whatever he believes in, and also a philanthropist, and also somebody that can give anything to someone that he truly likes and truly believes in. He's someone that once he believes in a cause, he will use everything within his means to fight for that cause and support that cause. Oh, of course, immediately the table turns. I doesn't believe in the same strength that he used to support is also the same strength that he used to fight. I think that is one trait. And he's a philanthropist. You can see the way people are milling around him, despite despite the COVID time that we are in.
Kashamu, Buruji Kashamu ọ̀run rere o. O ṣe dada o ṣe naye mi o. Epo ẹjọ́ òfin ko má bọ̀jẹ́. Ẹyin odo di ko má bọ̀jẹ́. Iwájú òfin dẹ̀ ko má bọ̀jẹ́. Iwájú Ọlọ́run kó dáyé ko ká ṣe rere o. Ọ̀run rere o.
Buruji Kashamu èèyàn gidi ni. Ká tó tún lè rorú Ọlọ́run ọba nìkan ló lè fún wa lóru èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lógùn state. Ó dùn wá gan. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ tẹ̀sáfẹ́fẹ́ rere. Torí èèyàn gidi ni. Nǹkan tó ṣe láti ìgbà tí mo ti délé ayé mo ò tí rí olóṣèlú tó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ àtọmọdé àtàgbà ló bá ṣe. Very nice man. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ tẹ̀sáfẹ́fẹ́ rere.
Buruji Kashamu ló jẹ́ ní tó yẹ pé mo mọ̀ dáadáa tó dẹ̀ mọ̀ mí. Èèyàn gidi ni. Ẹni tó lójú àánú mẹ̀kúnnù ni, ẹni tó ń ṣe dáadáa fún mẹ̀kúnnù ni, ní agbára Ọlọ́run kọ́lọ́mbà ta sáfẹ́fẹ́ rere. Iwájú tó dojú kọ kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kó dáa, ẹni tó fi sílẹ̀ kó má bàjẹ́.
Ó dà tó ògo Ìjẹ̀bú-Igbó ni ló jẹ́ fún wa. So bó ṣe wà yẹn ó dẹ̀ dùn wá pẹ̀lú ikú ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run lẹ́yìn ikú ẹ̀ yìí gbogbo ẹ̀ ó máa da ni. Gbogbo àwọn kan tó filẹ̀ gbogbo ìṣòro tó filẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ó máa sọ ìṣòro rere ni. Kò sẹ́ni tó tètè máa kọjú láti lọ bá nù wa. So lẹ́yìn ikú ẹ̀ yìí kí gbogbo àwọn máa mọ̀ sí rere ni lágbára Ọlọ́run tọ́lá aláàánú ni ó ṣe fólú ló ṣe fàlejò.
And we regret the loss of our mentor in Ijebu North. It's very painful that we lost him, but there's nothing we can do. But it's very painful. He's a good leader. Yes, a good leader in Ijebu North. In the whole world, we always miss him because it's a big tree that fell in Ijebu. The whole Nigeria, they will really miss him. Buruji Kashamu, we miss you. We love you, but there's no leader that can be like you in the Ijebu North local government. No leader. But we thank God that you make the world and you come to the world and you live in good life. In a good life, you live a good life, but we will always miss you.
I didn't know that man before. He's a man of integrity, a man of timber and caliber, and I pray that he will rest in perfect peace.
Prince Buruji Kashamu wọ́n jẹ́ èèyàn gidi ẹni tó ṣe fọkàn kàn ẹni tó ń fẹ́ ìlọsíwájú mẹ̀kúnnù aláàánú mẹ̀kúnnù oríwọ́rọ́ mẹ̀kúnnù ni wọ́n jẹ́ ọlọ́kọ́ bá dẹ̀lẹ̀ fún wọn kó tó ń sáfẹ́ rere.
Ṣẹ́rí Senator Buruji Kashamu tó bá pè èèyàn ló pa ni wọ́n tọ̀ ń kú ọ̀ràn torí kò sí èèyàn bíi tiẹ̀ mọ́ àmì ìrọ̀bá dẹ̀ lè rí mi jiyàn sẹ́ńtúrì mi tó bá tún wáyé tó mo ti ń rí èèyàn bíi ti Buruji mi rí èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé mo lè fi nígbà táwọn MK Abiola wà láyé táwọn bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ wà láyé nǹkan tí Buruji ṣe wọ́n ṣe torí MK Abiola bóyá lókìkí tó lówó tó kò pín mọ́tò fáwọn èèyàn kò pín mọ́tò rárá o bẹ́ẹ̀ náà l'Awólọ́wọ̀ kò sí èèyàn tó dàbí ti Buruji ó dùn mí gan mi tẹ ó jẹ́ kó ṣèlú sú mi láti ṣe torí kò so lóòótọ́ mọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣòṣèlú mo ti ń ṣòṣèlú láti 87 gbogbo àwọn lídà tí mò ń bá ṣe onírọ́ ni wọ́n ní onírọ́ ni àwọn olóṣèlú tó tọ́ ni bẹ́ẹ̀ Buruji òun parọ́ Buruji tó bá ti ṣe kọ́kọ́ spiriti lókè tó bá dé sálẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan tó ní kọ́ sọ gbogbo nǹkan tó ní kọ́ pa fún àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ máa sọ òótọ́ ló máa sọ ó máa ní lágbájá láyé sọ pé kò sọ báyìí tàbí ní kò sọ bá má dáwọ́ bó ṣe lọ lé bó ṣe lé lẹ́yìn ẹ̀wù tó bá ní ká máa sọ Buruji a máa sọ títí ayé kò sọ olóòótọ́ ọmọ olóòótọ́ ò lè rú wọn lè jẹ́ kó olóòótọ́ rú wa Buruji yìí ni the best nítorí tọ́lọ́run dá tá a ti rí kò séèyàn bíi tiẹ̀ mọ́ rárá láyé.
Buruji Kashamu ó jẹ́ ènìyàn tó jẹ́ olóòótọ́ àti olódodo. Year 2011 ni Buruji gbé mọ́tò fún mi so nọ́mbà mi jẹ́ 963 tó tún fẹ́ nìkankan tèmi jẹ́ 963 so ìgbà yẹn mo ti gbẹ ẹran ọdún mẹ́sàn-án ọdún yìí ń sìn ẹran tí mo pa kò díẹ̀ ló fi ju olóńgbò díẹ̀ ló fi ju olóńgbò bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí èmi ló fi jẹ olótún last nílé bàbá ẹ̀ èmi náà ni mo gba nǹkan gbẹ̀yìn nílé bàbá ẹ̀ mọ́tò mi ló wà ń ta ẹ̀ mọ́tò tó gbé fún mi ó wà ń ta so mi ò lè sọ bí má tẹ̀ ní kí n máa sọ torí odidijọ́ méje ni mo fi dúró sínú ilé tí mò ń ké torí ó sanwó skul ọmọ mi tó wà ní oṣù lẹ́ẹ̀kínní lẹ́ẹ̀kejì lẹ́ẹ̀kẹta ẹ̀sán tó máa ṣerú ẹ̀ mi ò rẹ́ni tó lè ṣerú ẹ̀ so kì í ṣe mi nìkan ló ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún mo ní mọ́tò tó kọ̀ mí ní àkọ́kọ́ ní ya 2011 jẹ́ 963 ní nọ́mbà mi nsìn èmi mo gbàdé last one kí ni mo sọ pé mo gbàdé last one ni pé kò tí ì pé oṣù méjì nsìn tó gbé mọ́tò fún mi tó dẹ̀ fi mi jẹ olótún owó tó ná is over 3 million torí tèmi so ṣé yẹn ni máa gbàgbé.
èmi Àlàdé chairman wọ 7 l'Abẹ́òkúta road bàbá ti fẹ́ mi 500,000 tí mo fáwọn èèyàn nígbà tó wá campaign lọ́dọ̀ àwọn àti àwọn pépé àti balógun jẹ̀bóde bàbá aláùsá èmi Àlàdé kú òjò mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́.
ní àkókò tí èmi jọyìn òṣèlú Kashamu yìí jẹ́ ẹni tó ṣe é fọkàn tì tí ò kí ń dójú tì yàn ní ti election yìí irọ́ ó ṣe gudugudu méje yàyà mẹ́fà pàápàá ní àròdò ọ̀tà local government kò jẹ́ kí ojú tì wá níbẹ̀ ó dúró tì wá ọlọ́run ọ̀dẹ̀ ní fi àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ ẹ̀yìn tó fi sílẹ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ ní bàjẹ́ iwájú tó dojúkọ adá fún lórúkọ Jésù gbogbo ohun tó ní ẹ̀mí àti tí kò lẹ́mí tí Olúwa kó lé lọ́wọ́ tó fi sílẹ̀ lọ lórúkọ Jésù kò ní bàjẹ́.
a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Buruji wọn ṣẹ́kù bàbá ló jẹ́ fún wa a dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ nǹkan tó ṣe fún wa ń lù jẹ́ gbogbo lágbára Ọlọ́run kó tó fi sílẹ̀ kò ní bàjẹ́ iwájú wọn á dà ẹ̀yìn wọn náà kẹ́ á dà pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run ìjà gbogbo náà kẹ́ àwọn tó bá tó ràn wá lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run á gbé dìde gbogbo Ògùn state lápapọ̀ a dúpẹ́ àtàwọn tó wà àtàwọn tó dìde àtàwọn ọmọ wọn ló wà pẹ̀lú wa ẹ ṣé o.
Buruji ó jẹ́ leader fún mi ní Ògùn state ń bí mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run mo bá ṣe woman leader ní àgọ́ ìwòye ní ward 9 èmi ni woman leader ọmọ òlu níbẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ ṣe gudugudu méje yàyà mẹ́fà ó gbé ẹ̀rọ fún mi mo dúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run mo dẹ̀ tún dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan tó fi sílẹ̀ kò ní bàjẹ́ gbogbo bó ṣe ń tọ́jú aláàánú lọ́mọ o gbogbo bó ṣe ń tọ́jú wa Ọlọ́run ló máa wà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ilé tó fi sílẹ̀ kò ní bàjẹ́ gbogbo àwọn tó fi sílẹ̀ wọ́n á gòkè wọ́n á di nílá níwájú ẹ̀ níwájú Ọlọ́run gbogbo Ọlọ́run foríjì gbogbo ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó bá ti ṣe Ọlọ́run kó foríjì láti bí ọdún méjìlá tí mo ti wà lọ́dọ̀ Buruji mo ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé ó ṣe gidigidi gan-an ni torí pé mọ́kà tí mo lọ ní ọdún kẹta èmi rò pé òun ló máa ràn mí lọ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ní burúkú tó jẹ́ pé ó kó ti àrígbà ìwọ̀n ò jẹ́ kó ràn mí lọ ṣùgbọ́n ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ dé ìgbà tí mo dé àsìkò tó yẹ kí n gba ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní ọwọ́ Buruji ukú mu lọ Ọlọ́run ló dùn kó bá fọ̀run kẹ́ aláàánú ọmọ ni o gbogbo àgọ́ ìwòye ló ṣe fún àgọ́ ìwòye ni mo ti wá o kọ́lọ́run ló dùn kó bá mi dá ọmọ ẹ̀ sí gbogbo ọmọ ẹ̀ kó má ṣòfò lójú ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ o kọ́lọ́run ló dùn kó tún látọ̀nà ẹ̀ ṣe ọgbà èyí ọmọ òlu kó má parẹ́ lásìkò tó lọ yìí o nìkan tó bá máa kó wa sí ní ọmọ òlu kọjá kó mọ̀ wá pé àwa tá a dúró ní tiẹ̀ rẹ̀ aṣojú méjì pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ Ọlọ́run á fọ̀run kẹ́ o.
ẹ ṣe Buruji ọ̀run rẹ o gbogbo ọmọ tó fi sílẹ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run wọn ní ìdààmú gbogbo nǹkan tó fi sílẹ̀ ò ní ìdààmú ibi tó kọjú sí báyìí á dá o èmi Abíọ́dún Ògùnṣọwọ́ láti wọ 2 Ṣàgá mo jọ̀nù Buruji láti 2008 lórí oore tó ṣe fún mi dẹ̀ ni bọ̀tẹ̀ gbogbo wọn tó fi sílẹ̀ ò ní bàjẹ́ gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Ṣàgámù tó ṣòro rẹ̀ kò ní bàjẹ́ fún wọn bọ̀tẹ̀ níjẹ̀búgbó yìí náà káwọn ọmọ ìjẹ̀búgbó kan gbà pé èèyàn ńlá ló lọ o wọ́n gbà pé èèyàn ńlá ló lọ àwa táwa ń ṣàgà a mọ̀ pé èèyàn ńlá ló lọ torí ní south west pàápàá kò lè sírú Buruji mọ́ ayé àdá ibi tó kọjú tó ní bàjẹ́ o àwa tó fi ìdààmú ní dé bá wa.
A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé olórí wa Buruji Kashamu aláàánú mẹ̀kúnnù èyí tó fayé sílẹ̀ fún iṣẹ́ ribiribi yàyà mẹ́fà èyí tó ti ṣe láti ran tọmọdé tàgbà àti ẹgbẹ́ PDP pàápàá lápapọ̀ fún ọmọ ìlú èyí tó ń ṣe alátìlẹ́yìn fún gbogbo ibi tí iwájú tó dojúkọ Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ èyí tó fi sílẹ̀ Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ mo gbàdúrà ní orúkọ Ọlọ́run gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Buruji Olúwa jọ̀ọ́ wàhálà ìdààmú má jẹ́ ó dé bá wọn nítorí Buruji jẹ́ onígbàlà fún gbogbo Ogun State fún gbogbo Nàìjíríà pàápàá ní Buruji ń ṣe oore ọ̀fẹ́ fún ìtọ́ni pé tí èèyàn bá ní ìṣòro tó bá lọ síwájú Buruji ó máa rẹ́rìn kúrò ńbẹ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ìdùnnú kó máa bá wọn. Ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa mo fẹ́ kí a fi eléyìí kọ́gbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí Buruji ṣe ń ṣe tó ń tọ́jú ọmọdé tó ń tọ́jú àgbà ìwọ tí o bá ní lọ́wọ́ ẹ wá kọ́gbọ́n lára Buruji Ọlọ́run ti sọ pé òun yàn fún wa láti fi kọ́gbọ́n ẹ ṣé púpọ̀.
Yes, in his quiet time. Because when the battle was on between Otumba Gbenga Daniel, it was his daughter, Yabo Obasanjo, that brought Buruji and introduced him to Obasanjo and everything. And Buruji gave Obasanjo's candidate, which was Oluri, the ticket for him to contest for governorship that time. At least I know I've known him for about 12, 13 years. We've married together, partied together, politics together, flown together, drank together, married together, danced together. And in the process too, we've had our misunderstandings too. And then he will call me and say, we realize it. And then we'll forget about what happened and we'll just continue from there again. So, he's someone he's someone you will say, yes, this man came and made his mark on earth. Because I was even amazed. People from United Kingdom, people from Canada, people from America, people from South Africa, people from Ghana, people from Cotonou, people from wherever, everybody's been sending tributes, calling, trying to do whatever they can do. Those who were close, those who were not close, those who just heard of him, those who just know him. How many people can we really say in Nigeria that if they pass away, such kind of network? So, I would say it's not for anybody to judge. Let the people be the judge. Let's give it to the public and let the public be the judge, not the elites. Definitely not the elites. Let the public be the judge. And if we look at the scale of justice, it seems as if the scale of justice tilts more to the public than to the elites. So I would say he's lived and he made an impact. In fact, I'm sure I personally have learned a lot of lessons from his death, and I know a lot of other people too would have. They will ask themselves questions. If they pass away today, would they have the same reception?